Okay, folks, we're going to get started. Compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law. I wish to state that on May 8th, 2015, the notice of this meeting of the Upper Township Committee was posted on the official township bulletin board and mailed to the Cape May County Gazette, the Atlantic City Press, the Ocean City Sentinel, Ledger, the Herald Times, and filed with the Township Clerk. Tonight's meeting is being video recorded up and until the closed session portion of this meeting and will be available on UTTV Channel 97 and on the Upper Township website. I hereby direct that this announcement made a part of the minutes of this meeting, and I would ask all to rise for the salute of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Barbara, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Here.
Mr. Coggins?
Here.
Mr. Pearson?
Here.
Mr. Young?
Here.
Mayor Colombo?
Here.
All members are present.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes from April 27th, both regular and closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any corrections, omissions, deletions that anyone's aware of?
None to my knowledge.
Okay, hearing none. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Colombo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Right, so we'll wait to see if our Eagle Scout will get here. But in the meantime, we can go over the report. So, Barbara, do you have anything for us this evening?
I just have one quick report. I'd like to report that township offices will be closed on Monday, May 25th in observance of Memorial Day, and that our committee meeting will be held on Tuesday, the 26th, the regular time, 7:30. Thank you. That's all I have this evening.
Daniel?
Nothing at this time. We do have a couple items, few items for closed session.
Okay. Paul?
Evening, thank you. First, I wanted to update the committee on the progress of the Beachville. As you know, it did start last week, and they're making fairly good progress. They've completed the beach and dune from Hawthorne Avenue heading north. This morning they were between Prescott and Putnam Avenues on the beach, so they're making pretty good headway. And tomorrow they should start working on the crossovers and just continue following up the beach on that. I would want to note for the public that all the beach access ways to get on the beach in the northern section of Strathmere, meaning the state natural area, Seaview, and heading south to Willard Avenue are closed due to the severe scarping, that it's not safe to get out on those accesses. I'm going to be working with Public Works to get out some additional signage in addition to the caution tape that's out there, just to make sure that nobody's going out there on those access ways and might get hurt.
Okay, great.
The next thing is just update the county's continuing work on Hope Corson Road and doing the drainage work on that. And that there again is that road's closed to through traffic, and they do have a posted detour up on that project, and they're moving along fairly well.
I was also happy to see they put no trucks, on some of the streets that are affected.
Yes.
So that we don't have commercial vehicles taking advantage of that.
And I think the county's also put some variable message signs out on Route 9 at various locations to try to encourage motorists to take Church Road and some of the alternative county routes around the area. So hopefully it's working out pretty well. And then the final thing is New Jersey American Water. Everybody's been seeing them. They're working on the main extension. Right now they're on Stagecoach Road between Tuckahoe Road and Roosevelt Boulevard. Probably starting on Wednesday, they will be doing alternating one-way traffic on Roosevelt Boulevard. So there could be some traffic delays on Roosevelt Boulevard. And then once they're done that area, they'll start dropping down to Stagecoach Road and start working south from Evergreen Drive towards Route 9.
Oh, excuse me, on the Stagecoach, are there any plans by the county to repave after this is all done or anything?
I don't know what their activities are. I mean, most likely when the water company comes in, I don't know what their restoration detail is, but they'll be paving quite a bit of that section when they restore that road.
Okay.
And that's all I had this evening.
Okay. Barbara?
Nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Mr. Coggins?
Nothing this evening.
Mr. Young?
A couple things. First of all, we're having a meeting tomorrow night. It's an organization meeting for the 4th of July special events. That'll be held at 7 o'clock at Labari's. And that's for anybody that wants to volunteer their time to come out and help with us as far as running games, parking, whatever, and all the above that we have to have people there for. So if we could get that passed around a little bit, we're going to start meeting every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock from now on. So we get that situated. Also with the 4th of July, is there any way that we could do something with manpower as far as township employees to help out that day? Again, with monitoring the situations. If we have a problem, last year we had a situation in the refreshment stand or with one of the bathrooms. So, you know, if we're going to host these events, we really need to look at it.
So whoever works on that day, because we're already going to have trash pickup, right?
Trash pickup will be the following day.
Right.
Or
we don't have
Monday.
Well, in Strathmere,
But the,
on the day of collection, there'll be.
But that July 4th isn't on Monday this year,
No, it's a Saturday.
Saturday.
so there won't be a problem there.
The Boy Scouts will be staying overnight again, so they will be canvassing the entire park and getting everything in the cans. Last year, we didn't have that much.
Barbara, just refresh me. So if we, dedicate a few individuals that are willing to work that day, they obviously get overtime because it's a holiday. But on the positive side, we don't have to do trash pickup that day.
Right.
We are doing Memorial Day and Labor Day, or the 2 Mondays in the summer this year. Every once in a while, obviously, probably maybe next year or the year after, July 4th will be on a Monday.
It's not
Do we have any idea how many
it's not, well, first of all, it's not an all-day adventure.
Yeah.
We need somebody there from 3 o'clock until the fireworks are over. So we're looking roughly 6 hours. Our fair that day is not going to start until 4 o'clock. We don't have an influx of cars coming in there until around 6:30 in that area. So that's where we really need the help with, as far as to keep people from parking on the grass. I need people out there that understand where they can park and what's going on in direct traffic. Fire companies at this point don't want to really be involved with that part of it. They do enough of it being there for us. So we really need to look at it.
Well, we're gonna have some, as of right now, we're gonna be looking at what the state police.
We're looking at state police and
Sheriff's Department?
and potentially 4 sheriff's officers.
We did talk to the sheriff on Friday.
And we need to send him a request for manpower.
Yeah, because he said that his department is starting to get requests for July 4th.
So we asked for
And
6.
he asked us,
Asked for 6,
so we get 4.
Okay.
Okay?
So then your one positions, as far as what are the duties gonna be?
What do you think, 3 people?
I'm thinking 3 people or 4 people max.
Okay.
Again, we need a maintenance person there, somebody that understands what's going on with the refreshment stands, or if a sprinkler system should go off.
Definitely, we should have somebody that's familiar with the facilities to be able to assist
And
anybody.
last year we had
that's gonna
Mike
be out
and
there.
Dwayne.
And that helped out.
That was a big help also. We have time for that, but I just want to try to get that taken care of while we can.
We'll bring it up at our supervisor meeting
Yeah.
on Wednesday.
Also, at Amanda's Field, we're still having a situation there with people parking on the grass in the Memorial Park area. And, it's funny, I have pictures on my phone that have been sent to me with people parking right next to a no parking sign. So, I'm not sure how we're going to handle it. What I would suggest for right now is possibly get a big 4x4 sign or something done for the entrance that is real visible, that says no parking except for designated areas.
Unless we
Or
rope
you
it
will
off-
be towed.
rope it
Or
off
do
temporarily.
do we have anything that would allow us to have cars?
We'd have to check the ordinance. I don't believe the ordinance has any no parking restrictions in Amanda's Field. We'll
I
have
don't
to take
think
a
there
look
are
at
any.
it.
We don't.
We don't have a towing ordinance either. That's another issue.
Okay.
But they can get ticketed, and I think, at least on highways and whatnot, the state police has the ability to have them towed.
The biggest problem down there is, with the skateboard park, with the hockey rink, and then we moved all the little kids down to that end of the park for soccer. So the parents that had that kindergarten age kid also had 2 or 3 other kids. And the parking down there is minimum, to say the least. So we have to try to find another way to gain more parking down there, or be able to fence that off so they can't be there. There was a request to do away with the Memorial Park, and I said absolutely not. That was dedicated memorial. We want to try to dress that up more and have a nice entryway into that facility, not a parking lot.
And the other thing too, really, how many parking spots would we have gained? We're not gonna gain that many parking spots.
You're not going to gain them there. I don't know what the answer is. There's a couple things that I looked at, no matter what involves fencing. So I just think it's something, Paul, maybe we need to take a look down there to see if there's not a way, maybe on the right-hand side where we have no parking and there's like a 5-foot swatch there. Maybe we need to move that fence in so we can have diagonal parking there.
I think we're better off looking at, let's look at the ordinance and do an enforcement thing. And, you know, try to work with the state police and once we have an enforcing ordinance.
That's fine.
I mean, because it's the regular, I mean, it's the same people week in and week out. And if they go 2 weekends and getting some parking tickets, they'll stop parking.
I know, but
But will the-
I don't know.
Do we
that I
want the
understand.
state, do we want the state police coming in there?
I
enforcing?
think, first of all, the state
there's
police
sufficient-
have better things to do than to worry about that.
But there's
And
sufficient
so-
parking.
I understand
So-
that, but I'm not necessarily looking to enforce no parking there. I would prefer that we give them an area designated to meet our needs, and then we don't have to worry about it.
And the issue too, we're not only dealing with parking issues, but pedestrian issues. Because, you know, you have kids darting in and out of
Back
the
in
cars,
streets.
and it's creating a pedestrian hazard. So we got to cut, I think the best way is, like Kobe was talking about, put a physical barrier with a fence, and we need to designate more parking.
If we're going to do the fence, we need to put it right at the edge of the roadway.
Crossing,
Because
areas.
everywhere we have that 5 to 6 foot grass strip, tells them they can park there.
Yeah, and put pedestrian crosswalks. So
Yeah, we need crosswalks for those kinds of
crosswalks
things.
and identify.
We'll have to sit down together and look at it. All
When's
right?
the next safety committee meeting?
Oh, not until June, I think. It's June. I forget what
Yeah,
date.
that's definitely something we should put on the
Would it
agenda
be
for
more
safety
cost
committee.
effective, Paul, to sink some 4x4s in the ground in that 5-foot swath, close enough that cars couldn't get in between them, than it would be to move that fence? I don't think moving
Well,
that,
the only reason I would say moving the fence, if we decide, if we have to try to create more parking, then that would be an option. I think the best
so
option
you're
for
talking
right
about
now,
pushing it in.
pushing it in more, and so we have 18-foot diagonal parking.
That's,
As far as putting the fence along the memorial field, I think we have to do that. It's the only way we're going to keep the cars off of it. There's no way around it. We put signs up, there were signs out there every 20 feet, and they ran them over and they parked right next to them. But I agree, I don't think the state police want to be out there enforcing parking on the grass.
No.
We have other important things out there, like with the dirt bikes and the quads and that kind of stuff that we're trying to get them to police. So, think about it, and we'll try to come up with some answers on that. Did the manpower for the 4th. Also, we haven't had really anything done on Amanda's Fields for the last couple of weeks due to other projects going on. I talked to Ed about that and trying to get back down there. The 2 fields are almost ready to put the sod on the infields as well as finalize the gradings. And we can do all that without the light poles being put in, because the way the fields are laid out now, we have room to get to the poles. And so we can continue the work to get the fields up and ready for the fall, and then put the lights in when we have that all worked out. So, we're going to talk about that at the supervisors meeting on Wednesday night. We're doubling up with guys, and some of my guys are out working, my equipment operators are working, doing other work with Tommy, and we're swapping that, which is nice. I just want to make sure we stay moving in that direction and trying to get that done. And the last thing was, I just want to say thank you. We all went down, and John couldn't make it, unfortunately. We went to the Coast Guard base on Friday for their big ceremony they had down there with the dress parade, and every mayor was there from the county, I think except for one of them, with Frank Lobiondo and San Fiacci, a lot of dignitaries were there, and it was a beautiful day out there. It was nice to go down there and see the facility, the way it's grown in the last 30 years since I've been there. But it was a good day.
It was very impressive when the helicopters flew at, 50-foot level across the field, and so it was very, very moving experience.
That's it.
Okay. Mr. Barr.
Okay, as we all know, since the beginning of the year, we've had 4 vacancies in the road department, and I wanted to bring it up for discussion in possibly giving some direction to Barb to research what we have to do as far as hiring. I was looking at 4 part-time road department employees. As the reason being, part-time, it would give us an evaluation period on those employees. And
You can hire them part-time or seasonal. And if you change your mind later and you want to make it full-time, you can do that. But if you're hiring it for full-time purposes, it has to be a full-timer.
Right.
And it would give us well, of course, what we would do is we put it out for advertisement for the positions, have an interviewing process. Upon selection of the 4 people, they would be seasonal, and we would use that time period to evaluate the person.
So just for clarification, if we do seasonal, Barbara,
Yes.
then it's 5 days a week, or you could do the hours up to 40?
Seasonal can be 40 hours a week,
And
yes.
and it doesn't incur benefits or anything like that?
It does not, because it's for
Or
a
if
set
we do
time.
part-time, it's 28 hours, is that how it works?
That's correct.
Yes.
So I think what we need to do is determine, are we looking for seasonal for, whatever's left between now and say June, or whenever we start, through September, to get us through a lot of things that are going on in the summertime?
It can go a little bit longer than that. It can't be any more than 6 months.
Okay. So we could theoretically do, let's just say, we have to hire somebody anyway, so let's just say June 1st to November 1st or something, is that?
It could go through the month of November.
I think it's warranted. We have a lot of projects going on. And there's a lot of projects that are minor issues, like weed whacking, painting fences, that kind of thing, that have been let go for quite a while. And I don't want to take one of our top guys out there and have them painting fences if we could have seasonal people. Paint the tennis court fences, they're all rusted. It looks like garbage out there. Everywhere else you go, they paint the fence every 2 to 3 years.
I mean, I think over the years, we've been pretty diligent in maintaining our staffing levels. I mean, how long ago, Barb, did you say? I mean, we're down, 11 people?
We're down 11 people in the last 5 years.
In the last 5 years.
12 people, actually, in the last 5 years.
How many people are we down since 2013?
6 people.
Okay, we're down 6 since
I'm
2013.
sorry, 7 people.
As we roll into 2014, we eliminated 9 head count, or repurposed 9 head count that were on the garbage trucks to other things. So essentially, we're still up 3 people. If you look at the jobs that we've changed, so we've taken 9 people off the trash trucks. We've moved them to other things. So if we've lost
Is it 9 or is
Yeah,
it?
we haven't picked up that many.
Well, wait a minute, because there's three trash.
Well, you had
3 on each, and so that would
you
be
had
6.
4 garbage trucks
We run 4 each time?
with 3 man crews each.
That's 12 guys.
That's 12 guys. So now what you have doing the same amount of work is you have 3 automated trucks with 1 man each.
Except for we still have the rear loader going out every day and the 2 mini packers every day. So there's 4 to 5 people right there.
I watch that and it continues to amaze me that we do that.
Me too, but I'm saying.
So I'm thinking we're still a little fat on people. I think with maybe the right look at our manpower scheduling, we may be able to, get a little bit more out of the out of the people that we have. You know, we now have Paul, who's starting to look at public works again. You know, maybe before we rush to a decision to start hiring again, we do a real careful manpower study to see, you know, where we're going to put these hours and where the hours have gone to the people that we've taken off the garbage truck.
Yeah. And one of the things we have to consider, and Barb, I don't know if you can get some kind of numbers on it or not, but how many hours we lose every year for people that are out with injuries and late duty, those kinds of things, because I mean, that's, if we don't have enough carrier people, we can't make up for that either, and then we don't have anybody cross-trained to do the job. So that's just something we have to look at.
You know, that factors into any kind of a manpower study that you're doing. You'd want to look at, you know, what was your downtime?
Yeah.
What was your lost work time in 2013? What was your lost work time in 2012 versus what it is now?
I understand, I understand exactly what you're saying. However, that's the reason why my proposal was to hire them as part-time as of right now.
As
Because seasonal, excuse me, I stand corrected, that, you know, it gives us that evaluation time also. I mean, not only on an individual, but we haven't even decided on who we would hire, if any, full-time as a permanent position. But from what I'm being told by the department head is that they need the manpower. And of course, with Paul being moved in there, we're still gonna be going through an evaluation process.
Well, we recently lost two full-time people that were accounted into the budget at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it may not, actually, and some will retire, so it is three.
It's three people.
It's three. So those three are already budget positions.
Correct.
You know, my thinking is that, you know, we're probably going to need some help. We can look at the manpower, we can look at it. Right now, what I'd like to see is to at least put some kind of advertisement out to see what's available there. Because a manpower study could take us 3 to 6 weeks or maybe even longer. And by the time we get to that, we're already in the middle of the summer, and we may lose the opportunity of getting, you know, some of these, you know, college kids or somebody that have some skills that would work for us. At a minimum, I would say let's consider 2 part-time people or 2 seasonal, and see where we are with it.
You know, another thought might be to, you know, as we've, you know, reduced some headcount that we had actually budgeted for, might be to repurpose these salaries and, you know, put it towards a good full-time superintendent, not somebody who's promoted within, somebody from the outside, somebody who's well-versed in civil service, who's got some strong management skills, and may be able to do the same things that we're doing now and maybe more with the people we have by using them more efficiently.
But again, you're talking of something that could potentially take maybe 3 to 6 months to get to that.
There's no question, that's
So-
definitely a project
So-
that would take some time.
Right, so, but for immediate needs, I would like to see us at least advertise, and we can further discuss this and make a final decision at the next meeting. But at least that, we're setting ourselves up for potentially making the decision and potentially have some individuals that would be interested in pursuing that seasonal position, so.
Well, I guess, you know, from my point of view, I think I would be, if we were to move in that direction of bringing some additional people on, I think I would be less reluctant to support it if they were designated as part-time people as opposed to seasonal 40-hour people. Because I think you know, once you get that person in that routine for that 40 hours, it becomes very easy just to roll them into the system. Whereas as a part-timer, if we can put a specified parameter on it at a more part-time wage, you know, it would be something, you know, for example, for some of the things Hubby was talking about. If we're talking about doing some weed whacking or painting a fence or something like that, you know, something that you would do in the summertime, but obviously we don't need to do in the winter. So then that head would go away in the wintertime.
Okay, so I'm not opposed to that idea, but I think a decision would be between 2 or 3 or something at that point, if we're doing 28 hours or 20 hours, whatever it is. You know, we may need an additional person to make up some of the time.
And if you're gonna go to 28 hours, then we probably have to go with the 4 people.
At least.
Yeah, because we need to buy.
3 at 40,
Bodies that we need.
3 at 40, or 4 at 28, I mean,
Well, I'm not convinced we need 3 at 40, that's,
well, we hire as we need it, advertise it, and if we need 2, we take 2.
So it would
If
be,
we want 3,
if we went for 3 28 hours, it's 84 hours in manpower a week versus 120.
right.
So, and an established salary is, you know, certainly less than what anybody would have been making in a full-time position, so.
It's set by the ordinance. I don't have it in front of me. I think it might be $10.50 an hour. I'm not 100% sure. It's no more than $11 an hour.
I would have no problem going that way to see where we had to go.
Exactly. Got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so, Dan, I mean, obviously, we have some loose ends to tie up as to how many individuals. Do we need to make a motion to say that it's okay to go forward, or is
Because
it?
of the discussion, it might be better to give direction to the personnel officer as to what to advertise for, so a motion might be better. Just to give it clear direction.
You may, I'm just throwing this out there, you may want to consider, it may be easier to attract individuals if you're offering them a 40-hour work week as opposed to a 28-hour work week. 28 hours may not, you know, if somebody already has a part-time job, they may.
So you're saying potentially two 40-hour people at 80 hours might be easier than higher than 3 28 hours?
Yeah, you're gonna attract a better caliber of person with 40 hours than you're gonna get with 20-some odd hours. So, I mean, I think that's the route that we need to go.
And they have to be
For
18
somebody
and up,
with
right?
40 hours.
Yes.
So we're talking about people not just getting dropped off to go to work, we're talking, they're gonna have expenses, gonna be coming back and forth too.
Because there's equipment they have to operate. They-
Yeah.
If we are going to go for 40-hour people, are we going to designate a start and a stop date to this?
It has to be 6
Yeah.
months,
Yeah,
otherwise
that's
it
why maybe any more
becomes
than 6 months.
6 months or less, otherwise it has to be a full-time civil service. with
Actually,
benefits.
I wouldn't be even opposed to say the end of September, and if I mean, at some point, it looks like we could use somebody a little longer, then we can make that decision, but that way we're limited to 4 months.
I would be reluctant to support it beyond the end of September.
Yeah, so I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, and I think
That's doable.
when you really look at the 240s, makes sense, because again, you know, we're gonna have guys crisscrossing jobs and not being trained properly. in
I think we should try for both, just to see what happens.
Okay.
You never know. I mean, there may be someone that has another position, that 28 hours might work into their schedule. So I would suggest that if we're gonna advertise, let's go for both and see what we get.
And 28 hours a week would be until the end of September also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go for 2 and 2.
So just so you have direction, you want to repeat it, and maybe somebody can move it?
We're going to look for seasonal employees for 40 hours a week until the end of September, and we're also going to look for seasonal employees for 28 hours a week until the end of September.
Not to put another,
For a total of possibly 4,
starting 1 June,
starting in June.
okay? And
Probably, I mean, given the time that it is now, it probably would have to be into June because we still have background checks and other things to go through once we advertise and then interview. Still have some background
I
checks.
think we ought to keep that number to 3 since we're talking about filling 3 vacancies.
the only difficulty you're gonna have is if you, for a 28-hour work week, that's not a full, even number of days. You might wanna relook at that, because what's gonna happen is, if they're only gonna work 28 hours, they're gonna be at a half a day, and that's extra manpower that you're gonna have to drive that person back to the shop if he's not, has his own vehicle, and then, you know, coordinate that where he's back and forth. So, if it's going to be a partial week, you might want to keep it to a 24 or some sort of.
With the time frame that you're talking about, though, if you went up to a 32-hour, if they worked 4 days, 4 8-hour days, you're still okay.
And that would be seasonal.
Season.
Okay.
Because you're talking about a time period less than 6 months, so that's considered seasonal.
Okay.
Could we utilize these people at special events? Since they're part-time?
Oh, yeah, you can.
Would that-
We do the
to
most
save
part.
us- To save us with the
Sure.
overtime and stuff, it might work out well too.
Utilize them.
Well, as long as they're qualified to do what we need done.
Yeah.
Do we have a motion for that?
Again, just for clarity, is somebody gonna move what Barbara just described?
Yes.
Yes.
Make a motion that we advertise for hiring three people,
2 and 2.
seasonal employees, at a 40-hour work week, and what was the other number we wanted to go with?
32 hours.
32 hours.
And
Until the end.
you'll have to do a formal resolution, you need a second, but you'll have to do a formal resolution when you actually hire. This is just to give her direction because of the discussion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second. Is there any other discussion? Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
That's it, sir.
Mr. Pearson?
Sorry, fell asleep at the switch there. We're so long here with Ed. I would like to echo the Friday night event at the Coast Guard base. It was superb. Really took me back to my military roots, and it was very enjoyable and so well done. And we happened to meet one of our Coast Guard persons that's here in the community, Steve Endicott. He's a member of the Coast Guard. He's a commander of one of the units down there, and he did a heck of a job out there. It was very, very enjoyable. Sure. Just like to bring up that there's a couple events coming up for the EMS side of the house, my EMS division. 16 May from 1 to 3, which is a Saturday. There's a Meet the Crew event at Amanda's Field, and that should be a bang-up event to get a chance to go out and see the EMS people and look at their equipment. Plus, they'll have helicopters, I believe, from New Jersey State Police come in, and they'll talk about their helicopters and things like that. Then on the 30th of May, from 2 to 6, which is another Saturday, they're having a Back Bay benefit. It's at the Tuckahoe Inn, and they'd certainly like to have people attend that. Adults are $25, and 20 and under is $15. So it includes a buffet, draft beer, and soda. It should be a very good event. They're hardworking people, and they do a lot of events to raise money, and I would hope that the township could support them. And that's all I have, sir.
Just want to point out
Yes,
that
sir.
that's an agenda item, one of them, so it hasn't been approved yet.
Well,
Assuming you
that's-
guys approve it.
True.
I only have a couple quick things. One, Barbara and I have been working not only with Delta Dental, who has our existing dental health program, but some other companies, and we were able to negotiate no increase for the upcoming year. So we had talked about renewing for 2 years. If we did for 2 years, they would raise the rate, not substantially, but not to make it worthwhile for us to go 2 years, because then we'd actually be paying more for this year. So my recommendation is that we renew with the existing Delta Dental at the same rate as we got last year. So I'll make that motion.
Second.
Would you call the roll? Unless there's any discussion, would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
And I also want to remind everybody, since I guess we're not going to have a meeting until after Memorial Day, there is Memorial Day services. You meet at the VFW between 8 and 8:30, and traditionally it's going around to, what's it, like 15 grave sites?
Grave sites,
And there's a marked trail. You move from VFW to Beasley's Point and then head through throughout the entire Upper Township area as well as head of the river. So that starts between 8 and 8:30, meet at the VFW in Marmora. And let's see.
And it winds up with a memorial ceremony at Osprey Point.
Osprey Point. But that's at like 10 o'clock.
9:30, 10 o'clock.
So that's all I have. You have one more thing?
Yeah, I had a phone call the other day from some of our ramp attendants for Beasley's Point. Paul, what status are we at with getting that parking lot graded out, and
They've been grading it once a week.
how they?
Yes,
Okay.
and I was actually out there, I know last week it was graded up nice. The parking has, they started to get the employees that are working on the contractors working on the bridge, it's hit or miss. Some days they're pretty good in keeping I'll say the center area open and only parking on the perimeter area. Some days, they're encroaching, to a bit of it, so it's been, over the last two or 3 weeks, a consistent email chain back between myself and the consultant that's overseeing the work for the Turnpike Authority. So it's been a back and forth issue. So at some point, we're probably just going to have to tell them just no parking at all, because it's, it doesn't seem like they're doing well with, giving them half the parking lot to park in. It seems like we're almost going to start now to get them to not park anywhere, so that by Memorial Day and come the beach season, that they're not infringing on the parking.
Yeah.
Not just the beach season, we have a boat ramp.
Right.
And parking with the trailers is going to be very difficult.
Right.
Now, I was there on, was that Sunday, Jay? I saw you? Saturday. And there was, and it has been graded. The parking lot was very smooth. And there was limited parking at that time, and there wasn't that many workers on that day. But, as we get closer to the season, when people are going to be using their boats on a daily basis, if people are going to be at the beach on a daily basis, we're going to need that parking lot.
Are they making any arrangements on their end as far as where they're gonna put employees when we're gonna have to have that parking lot?
I've had to, they know that they, come summertime, that there is going to be no parking there, so they do realize that. They've been trying to utilize their parking area on the side of Cove Road more. Now that they're establishing some more gravel area, I'll say, up on the parkways, I've seen more people parking, on the southbound lanes, in that area. I've given them suggestions about, reaching out to whether it's, the Tucko Inn to use their secondary parking area during the day, since they don't need that during the daytime, or, reaching out to, Rock, BL England, and, maybe shuttle some people over from their larger parking area. So they realize that they have to come up with a solution here in the next month.
What's the condition of Harbor Road with potholes and all?
We have one area, it's just, I'll say, east of Cove Road on the east side of, where we've had some potholing, kind of where before the bridge, Public Works has been scheduled, we had to wait until we had some warmer weather, because it's, you couldn't do a cold patch, you had to do it the larger thing. So it was supposed to be done last week, it should be done this week. Right there, just beyond Cove Road, it's a large area, they prepped it, and it's got DGA in it now, so they just have to box it out and pave it this week.
Okay.
But other than that, the rest of the road is in reasonable condition.
Okay. So now we reach the time so that we get to honor Augustus Joransinski for obtaining his Eagle Scout. Would you want to come up? For those that haven't had a chance to see this project, he built a beautiful monument to the Blessed Mother at St. Maximilia Colby, and it's a great area to meditate and to really enjoy a quiet time. It's really a fantastic job that they did, and I would certainly make sure that everyone who hasn't seen it has a chance to go behind the church where the rectory area is and see the work that he's done. So we've done a resolution that I'd like to read, And it says, whereas Augustus Joransinski of Troop 79 Seville has recently achieved the designation of Eagle Scout in the Boy Scouts of America. The Township of Upper wishes to acknowledge this outstanding accomplishment. That the Township extends its sincere congratulations to Augustus on the occasion of his receiving the designation of Eagle Scout and commends him for this outstanding accomplishment and the completion of his Eagle Scout project consisting of building a shrine to the Blessed Mother Mary for St. Maximilian Colby Parish in Marmora. Flower boxes and a stand for the statue of Mary were created and pavers were placed, and through fundraising efforts, the statue of Mary and benches were purchased along with the materials required to complete the project. Be it further resolved that the Township Committee extends its sincere congratulations and best wishes to Augustus' parents, their family, and friends on this happy occasion, and that the Township Committee also extends its congratulations and appreciation to the Scoutmasters and others who give so freely and generously of their time for the benefit of our youth. So, this is a great honor. It's my understanding that only 2% of all the Boy Scouts actually can ever attain the rank of Eagle Scout. And some of the great leaders of the United States have their Eagle Scout. And it's something that will be with you throughout your entire life, your career. It's something that people certainly would put on their resume. So it's an outstanding accomplishment. And you know, we only hope that someday maybe you'll be sitting here and being on the government for Upper Township, or maybe even think higher and be a senator for New Jersey or something. So congratulations. And it really is a beautiful monument. It is. I know last week they crowned the Blessed Mother, and it's just, you know, outstanding. You really did a fantastic job, and I know you had a lot of help from your troop, from your Scoutmasters, and your family. But still, it's a major accomplishment. And I will tell you that the Eagle Scout projects in the township have benefited this township greatly. There are so many great things that have occurred throughout the township, all led by Eagle Scout projects. So you have not only accomplished a great achievement for yourself, but you certainly have done a great accomplishment and achievement for Upper Township as well. So I think he deserves a huge round of applause.
Sure. Why don't we bring his mother and father up? And Paul, could you take a picture with their camera?
Did you guys get all your shots for the newspaper? Okay, good. Okay, so let's try and get a good shot here, Paul. Okay, thank you. And I want to apologize, because normally we get you in and out. We just kind of got started, we sort of wait a little bit, but you're certainly free to either stay or go, because you probably have some homework and things you need to do. So, you know, please go home and enjoy yourself. Congratulations. It's really a great accomplishment.
Good job.
All right, Barbara, would you want to start with the resolutions, please?
Certainly. Item number 2 on the agenda, appointment of J.P. Bainbridge and Associates and J. Paul Bainbridge as an appraiser for the Township of Upper.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Splumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 3, authorizing the mayor and township clerk to sign a contract with Neil Levengold Esquire Todd Regario, Esquire and 11 Book Law Firm for professional consultant services.
Move the resolution.
Second?
This is something that we spoke at the last meeting about. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggin?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 4, appointing Raymond Padre as a temporary electric subcode official and electric inspector on an as-needed basis in the absence of the permanent electrical subcode official and electrical inspector.
Move the resolution?
Second.
Let's call the roll, please.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 5, authorizing the Township of Upper to accept a vehicle from the New Jersey State Agency for surplus property through the New Jersey State Police Emergency Management Section as part of the Federal Surplus Property Program.
Move the resolution.
Second?
Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is
And
carried.
this is something that we have been working closely with. This piece of equipment actually happens to be a dump truck. So as the equipment comes back from overseas, there's an opportunity to apply to get some of the surplus equipment. Certainly will help us keep costs down for equipment needs here. We've applied for some other equipment that we anticipate being approved for, and we've already received a lot. So this is an example of working closely with the state. I know our OEM director has been on top of this on a daily basis, kind of scanning to see what's available for the township. So.
Item number 6, resolution requesting change in title, text, or amount of appropriation pursuant to NJSA 40A4-85.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Okay, let's call the roll, please.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 7, resolution amending resolution number 12, 2015, confirming appointment of various employees to annual and specified terms.
I abstain on this.
Yeah, we has to abstain.
Move the resolution?
Second.
Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Abstain.
Abstain. Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried with 4 in favor and 1 abstention. Item number 8, appointing Michael Pfaff, Thomas Lonergan, and Ronald Rain as part-time seasonal beach sweepers to the Upper Township Public Works Department.
Move the resolution?
Second.
Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 9, appointing the 2015 season beach patrol personnel.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
I abstain.
Abstain.
There's 2 Palombos on this. My nephews are on the lifeguards.
Motion is carried with 4 in favor and 1 abstention. Item number 10, appointing Jeffrey R. Serenian and Associates to act as special legal counsel in matters involving affordable housing obligations.
Move the resolution.
Second?
Let's call the roll, please.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 11, authorizing the execution of a contract with Leah Fury Bruder and Bach Associates for professional planning services.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Before you vote on this, if there was any questions on this, we did give you the 3 proposals that came in. This is the individual that was recommended by Mr. Serenian for the affordable housing issues and the new co-application that has to be made. So, it is on closed session. If you wanted to talk about it, we would table this and then talk about it in closed if you wanted to talk about those proposals. But I think you saw that they were fairly consistent with each other, and this is the one that was recommended.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with it.
Let's call the roll, please.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 12, under new business, Upper Township EMS Meet the Crew event and barbecue at Amanda's Field on May 16th from 1 to 4 p.m.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Well, this is move to approve, right?
Move to
Yes.
approve, yeah.
Yes.
And second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 13, the Richard Stockton Coastal Research Center final report for 2014 on the condition of the municipal beaches in Upper Township.
Move to approve.
Second.
Hey, one question, Paul. Is this what we're going to use as our baseline that we talked about in an effort to try and save some costs? Or he'll do some additional work?
No, this is really the summary from 2014,
Okay.
the surveys that he did in 2014. He's, normally we have this report, submitted to us in late January, early February. However, because he's still trying to catch up with a lot of his Sandy reports from up and down the coast that he's been working on, and he knows that we had, the Beachville and then Beachville coming, so he kind of put our annual report kind of on the back burner, so to speak. But he was just summarizing the data. What he's going to base his future report on is as they start the Beachville, they go out and survey the beach, within 10 days of when they fill it, and then they'll come back and resurvey it to determine the volume that was actually put on the beach. We'll actually get copies of both of those surveys, and he'll use both the pre-condition survey and the final filled area as his first template for this year.
And just, Paul, you can correct me if I'm not stating this accurately, but this is probably the last of the state and local engineered beach report. After the Army Corps project will be an Army Corps beach, and the Army Corps will then make determinations as to when it gets refilled and replenished and whatnot.
However, we still will have Dr. Farrell on that.
Monitor it,
Just so that we can have.
communicate with the Army Corps to get them out to do their job.
Correct. But to save costs this year, we're using the final surveys that the Army Corps is going to do as they complete the beach as kind of the starting point, and then he'll follow up in the fall time and kind of do a survey to see how much has come and gone and shifted during the summertime and early fall.
Okay. Any other questions? Let's call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 14, Upper Township Soccer Association requests use of Amanda's Field and Tyler Davis Soccer Fields on July 11th and 12th, and September 5th and 6th to hold soccer tournaments.
Move to approve.
Second.
Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 15, ALS Association Greater Philadelphia Chapter Express Bike Ride. This is going to take place on a small section of road in Tuckahoe.
This is the one that we've had going on
We've had it
for
for
quite a
like
while.
14 years or something like
Okay.
that.
One question on this one. This is an out-of-town organization.
Yes,
They're asking to come through the township to use one of our roads.
yes.
Is there any provision in here for litter control and cleanup?
Well, they will be expected to,
Well, we have ordinances,
have
if
an
they,
ordinance
if
they'll
they
have to follow.
litter and throw things on the ground or whatever, that they can be cited. We haven't had a problem in the past. It's really just an authorization to have an event go through on the public roads. I don't know how long the bike ride is, but it's a very small portion. It's only,
they have a
it's
breaking
between
point?
3
Is there a
to
breaking
3.5
point?
miles, I believe, is in Upper.
Is there a break in our area? Is that what it is? Do they have a break in our area?
I don't think so.
no, no,
think so.
there's no
They just
break.
ride through.
The state
I'll tell you,
police
Jeff,
have
from
no
my
objections
experience
to
with
this
this
event.
organization, they're top notch. I mean, they run a tight ship, and you never even know they're there.
And this has been 16 years?
It's been more than 10 years, I believe,
Okay.
and I've been in contact with the state police on this one. They have no objections to the event, and the EMS.
And they had to get
no-
county approval as well.
No objections.
Okay.
So.
Move to
We do
approve.
have general littering ordinances that obviously if someone violated that, they could cite them.
I'm
And
thinking more of the bicycles riding through, they take their water bottle, they drink it, they toss it, that. that type of thing. There's
Yeah.
somebody coming through the police after the bikers come through.
They police their own people, believe it or not. They have road marshals and the people that are riding with them. And they monitor their conduct and keep them in line, so
Yeah.
they're pretty sharp.
And I think most of these bikers that I've seen anyway, they're now going to the back with the hose on it as
Yeah.
well as, and they have the attachable water bottles. It's not like they're riding in a marathon when they're handing them water bottles as they go by. So,
That's what I'm thinking.
yeah, it minimizes the impact.
I'll second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Goggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Would someone like to make a motion to pay the bills?
I hereby move that all claims submitted for payment at this meeting be approved and then incorporated into the full minutes of this meeting.
Second. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Goggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
There were a number of reports of municipal departments, construction code, EMS report, MUA report, public works, tax collector. All of those reports will be available upon request tomorrow at the Township Clerk's office, but I'd like to make a motion to accept the reports.
Second?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Goggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Okay, so we have now completed our open agenda, and we're now looking to see if there's anyone that would like to address the Township Committee. This is the time to do it. Please come to the podium and state your name and your address, and then the things you would like to address before the Township Committee.
Kevin Grubb, Greenfield. I just got a question for you. With all the issues you're having with parking and everything, and not wanting to use the state police, why doesn't the township create a parking authority?
Can you do that without police?
Create what?
A
A
parking
authority? I mean,
A parking authority is a separate independent body that would be, it would be similar, not exactly similar, but it's a statutory body that would come similar to a planning board or zoning board. If you had a problem with parking, or you wanted to build a parking garage, or you wanted large-scale municipal lots to be operated by the municipality, you can create a parking authority. There have been problems in other towns that had created them. Ocean City disbanded theirs and just operated as a municipal function. We could have meter maids, we could put meters up. The township in the past, not this committee, but the township in the past has decided against that, not having meters.
yeah, that was my next question. I mean, if you created a parking authority, couldn't you have meters?
You don't have to, you have
Strathmere?
meters without a parking authority. Parking authority is just this government creating another entity that would operate it.
Well,
They could still operate it as a government, they could have meters.
Okay, so then
Just pass it
they could
on.
utilize Strathmere, they could put parking meters up and use that as a revenue, and say hire veterans or retirees to patrol and empty the meters and use that revenue towards whatever, beach patrol,
The
anything
difficulty
like
with
that.
that is there has to be a study as to the people you hire, the benefits, whatever you pay them, compared to what you generate in terms of meters. Now, some larger scale operations in big cities, it's all electronic, there's an initial cost, but there isn't the employee cost, because it's usually done by credit cards. So that's something, if you wanted to look at it, you could, but my understanding is we don't get a lot of tourists in Strathmere. Most of the people that go to Strathmere, when we looked at it in the past, are actually Upper Township residents that drive over, and we'd be charging our own residents. That there isn't, because there's not a boardwalk there, there's not a concession stand, people would go to other towns. That's the, Rich, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the analysis that occurred in prior years when we looked at things
Well,
like
we
that.
also looked at beach
Beach
fees.
tax.
And, we did, over the past 2 years, we have done beach counts on a daily basis throughout the summer. And determined that there was a lot of duplication, meaning the same people are coming, on weekends. During the week, it's very limited in Strathmere because there really isn't a lot of rental properties over there. So the transient population, the daily people that a lot of the folks in some of the bigger barrier islands experience just doesn't happen there. But we went on a count to see if, we had X amount of people. Does it make sense to hire? Because if you have beach tags, you have to hire, 2 or 3 people to enforce it. And by the time we started doing that, we felt that really was close to a break even, not very much extra revenue would be experienced. Because there are many sections on that beach during the summertime where the same individuals are there week after week. So they would, if we went to beach tags, they'd be buying the seasonal one, which is certainly a lot higher savings. The real money for Ocean City and Sea Isle and those are the daily people that come in, transit, and they buy tags on a daily basis, and they're not that much less than the seasonal at the beginning of the year. So,
Right.
and the same thing really would hold true for the meters. There's really only one street that could potentially ever do that, and that might be Commonwealth. But again, there's very limited parking there.
Well,
So
I mean,
we would have to figure out, a way to accommodate the residents that are there first.
Well, I mean, the main stretch of Strathmere, going into Strathmere from Sea Isle, I mean, just the main stretch along the dune there, roughly a mile, would you say? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, roughly a mile to get into where the actual town of Strathmere.
You're talking about Whale Beach.
Yeah.
But that's not all of ours, though. Remember, a lot of that's Sea Isle. So,
No, I understand that. I mean, from where Strathmere starts. So roughly, if you use a mile area, just a mile stretch, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, if you put meters up along that stretch, roughly, what, they gotta be 18 feet apart?
22.
22 feet apart? Okay, so you're looking at, if you average $10 a day per meter for the course of the summer, for 92 days of summer, from June till August, I mean, if you average $10 a day just on that single mile stretch, you're looking at over $200,000.
except for that,
in
it's
revenue.
not our road. That's
I
a county
understand.
road.
That's
So,
what?
it's a county road.
Okay.
So, we don't have the authority to put that's why Sea Isle doesn't have meters on that road either. It's a county road. So, we don't have the authority to put meters on a county road. It would be the
Even though
county
it's
that would have
township
the
owned, you don't have the
authority.
authority to put meters on that road.
What is it?
I said, even though the township owns Strathmere, you've
It's
kept
not our road.
Strathmere.
It's not our road.
Right, that's what I'm asking, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah, no, that's the problem. That's why you don't see meters even on the Sea Isle side, because Sea Isle obviously has meters in their town.
Yes,
But
yeah.
it's a county road. They have we don't have any jurisdiction or authority over that road.
So then only the side streets you're saying is the township owned, that would be the only access to be able to put any type of meters or things of that nature?
Yes.
Okay, that's all my questions.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Okay, hearing silence, we'll close the public portion, and I'll turn to Mr. Coggins and entertain a motion to go into executive session.
And just to clarify, we don't need to speak about the professional planner under contracts.
Okay. I hereby move that a resolution be incorporated into the minutes authorizing the Township Committee to enter into an executive session for the following matters pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act: contract negotiation for the cell tower lease and personnel. I also include in my motion the estimated time and circumstances under which the discussion conducted in closed session can be disclosed to the public as follows. It is anticipated that the matters discussed in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Township Committee that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. With respect to employment and personnel matters, such discussions will be made public if and when formal action is taken or when the individuals involved consent that it can be made public. With respect to contract negotiations, such matters will be made public when negotiations have ceased and there is no longer a reason for confidentiality.
Second. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Colombo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
I'd like to wish all of you a good evening.